Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another edition of the Good Chalk podcast. In this episode, this is episode 7 of the Good Chalk podcast. The title will be The Return of the Notorious Conor McGregor. So literally just today, probably 3-4 hours ago, Conor McGregor announced his next fight is in June, I believe, June like 26th against Michael Chandler. But for all we know, like June is a long way away. I said John. Conor McGregor could get busted for some drug tests. Conor McGregor could get injured. Michael Chandler could get injured. Conor McGregor could have a change of plan and say, like, I don't want to fight this guy. He looking too big. He looking too explosive. Like, I don't like. And even joked about middleweight, the fight being at middleweight. So it's a lot of things like question marks about the fight. And who's to know if this or that is actually in store? But if we just go on based off what he said and things aren't really fully set in stone, and again, June is so far away, but we're gonna believe and go with it. That's a pretty big fight. But I guess the more interesting thing is, or the interesting things about that is, why not UFC 300? And the other thing is this the best fight, or will he return, or can he return and be the best or a good enough version of himself to really make a dent in the weight class at this point? Can he beat Chandler and then go on to fight some actual competition, or we look to hopefully if he could get past Chandler, look to try to leapfrog into a title fight, which he probably could get. All he probably is one win away from a title fight, especially if Makhachev was able to run through, I guess, maybe one or two contenders, but we'll see. But how do you feel about that fight, being announced? Do you feel like it's actually going to happen? Do you feel like Conor McGregor can return to form? Do you feel like the date's right, or you feel like he should do UFC 300, or how you feel?
Yeah, I totally agree. I think for sure, Conor McGregor is an attraction. No matter what happens, everybody's gonna want to watch it. But as far as I've seen from him, like in social media wise, I've just seen him partying and partying and partying, and Chandler's locked in, bro. I'll give Chandler some credit because that Charles Oliveira fight really solidified that he belongs. Like I was questionable at first, like when I first saw Chandler come into the UFC, I didn't know what he brought because I didn't pay attention to Bellator because I thought Bellator was like a weak version of the UFC, which wasn't really worth watching. But like at the end of the day, it's still people fighting. It's pretty much the same exact way. Sometimes the rules are a little different, but Michael Chandler came into the UFC with a bang, and I definitely think that he deserves a Conor McGregor fight. As far as Conor McGregor goes, he looks like he's on a good one all the time, and you can't stay on a high forever. You know what I mean? You eventually you're gonna have to come down. So I don't know. There's like been memes and stuff of him talking on, or people talking online about him just being addicted to cocaine, like putting Cristiano Ronaldo up with him, saying, look at my coke dealer type stuff. And it's like, it's funny, but like, you know what I mean? At the end of the day, Conor McGregor used to be the number one pound for pound fighter in the world. He was the first person to get 2 belts. So you got to have a lot of respect for the man. I wonder what he sees left, another 25-30 million from the UFC, 2 or 3 times, but he loses. Like, who knows? Dana White will make him retire before he lets him fall off. Like, and that's just love. Like, that's showing someone like Tony Ferguson. Like, Paddy Pimblett didn't look excellent against Jared Gordon, but he beat him, and I got paid for it, so I'm not going to complain. But like, Tony Ferguson is out, bro. Like, they took him off the roster and everything. So I don't know what's next for Conor McGregor. I hope when he comes back, he just has that same confidence he always had, and he'll be able to, prove that in the cage. But as far as what happens, I hope he fights. I would love to watch him again. I hope it's against Michael Chandler, who deserves it. But yeah, those are my thoughts.
All right, cool. Now next topic is the state of the welterweight division. So it's definitely some shakeup there. Um, Leon Edwards announced his next fight, and he said it's on UFC 300. But again, until we actually see it, like it really gets close to that fight, I think UFC 300 is in April. Conor McGregor's card going to be in like June. But yeah, UFC 300 around April 16, I believe, or estimated be April 16. But again, until we get really close to the card, it hasn't even touched 2024 yet. We still got about like 6 hours or whatnot before 2024 starts. And then we got like 4 months before April. So we got some time before then. And yeah, with the state of welterweight division, you got two things. You got the guy that's probably like the more interesting looking option, and Shavkat Rakhmonov, who's definitely deserving in his own right. Then you got the true number one contender, Bilal Muhammad, who has beaten like ranked opponent after ranked opponent after ranked opponent, been in the underdog like three of those fights. But Luke K fight, I think he was underdog. Stephen Thompson, I think he was underdog. Sean Brady, he was underdog. So yeah, he's been like the underdog in three of these fights. I think forget who he just beat last. Was it Sean Brady he beat last? Or was
No,
it
not Kelvin. Gilbert Burns.
Oh yeah, it might have been 4 times. He might have been underdog 4 times. That's crazy.
Right. I
So
made $5,000 with his last fight.
yeah. Yeah, he's been the underdog in a lot of these fights, and he's been winning back to back. So he definitely deserves it. He's been in the division a long time. He's done the work to earn a title shot. And but the thing is, like with UFC 300, like where would that be placed on UFC 300? I can't imagine that'd be the main event. That'd be kind of underwhelming, especially after Leon Edwards' last performance. I can see Leon Edwards went out there and made a star of himself by destroying Kobe Covington like he should have. But that lackluster performance going to really kind of steer people away from. That was his big moment. He flopped. Simple as that. He flopped the fight. He won. That's the most important thing. But you flopped. And, the monetary side of things, your legacy is going to get better, I guess, because you at the very least you maintain your title. But as far as your star power dropped, your monetary value, your viewership going to drop. So I know UFC 300 is a big card that people going to watch just because of UFC 300, but I can't imagine that be the main event of the card. It got to be some other fight they're planning, like maybe I don't know. They said John Jones out 5 months. I don't know if that's going to be April by the time he'll be healed. I think he might fight on the same card as Conor McGregor, but we don't know. But yeah, I can't really imagine who else would they'll put on there. Maybe Alex Pereira was talking about UFC 300. That'd be a big fight. I can see that being the main event because Alex Pereira, he's doing what he's supposed to do. He's going out there knocking guys out. He just became a 2 division champion.
Won
He
me
got
a ton of money, and I got to see it live. Let's go! I love that.
Yeah. So yeah, like he know what he needs to do. So I would think he will be the main event. Then Leon Edwards be the co-main event, and then hopefully this time around, for his sake, he could go out there and put a good star performance on, and put a stamp on whoever he fights next, or at least fight an exciting fight instead of the complete opposite of his last fight. But yeah. So how do you feel about UFC 300? Do you feel and not really like the state of the welterweight division? How you feel about who should get the next title fight? And how should UFC 300 be set up? How do you think the lineup should be?
Wow, yeah. I mean, the welterweight division, like Colby said, and I'll give him this, the welterweight division is the most interesting, I think, between Bilal Muhammad and Shavkat Rakhmonov. They pose the most danger to the champion than in any other division, really. Like, I think Islam's really got, one at 155 on La Carrera, put a stunner on Yuri Prohaska, which was like, I bet under 3.5, and I'm so glad it hit, but I was so nervous the whole time because I know that the last fight that Alex Pereira had with Jan Blachowicz, that it was lackluster. Nobody was excited. He won, but that's about it. And I think right now, like, I think Jamal Hill definitely poses a threat to Alex Pereira. The way he did Glover Teixeira, and like, I just think he was already the champion when he vacated his belt because he got injured, which is, it's a huge thing to do to give away your belt like that. But yeah, that, and then I guess if Francis Ngannou was still in the UFC, 265 would look like somewhat like the welterweight division, but the welterweight division is just stacked, bro, with killers. You know what I mean? Gilbert Burns put a whole fight on Khamzat Chimaev, which, like, I did not see that coming. I don't think anybody did. And I know how good Gilbert Burns is, and I'm not saying that because I don't think he's good. I'm just, Khamzat has been steamrolling people one after another, and like, there's nothing they can do about it. And he was the first person to put any resistance towards that. So when Bilal Muhammad beat him, I was so happy because I won the $5,000, but I was also extremely surprised because he was plus 100, which is crazy. Like, to think that now looking back on it, because the way he did Sean Brady made me bet on him against Gilbert Burns, who just fought Khamzat Chimaev. Excuse me. And I just, like, it's the one I'm the most excited for. The people I want to see fight is Shavkat Rakhmonov and Bilal Muhammad. I don't care who it is. I'd rather see Shavkat fight Leon, just because of out of pure talent. I think Bilal's gained skill because Bilal's lost, and Shavkat hasn't. You know what I mean? But losses don't, like Jake Paul just lost, the beginning of the year, and now he just knocked out a 10-1 boxer, which like the way he did Anderson Silva, Nate Diaz, I just was like, you can't do anything but be like, damn, he's got skill. And I think it's the same for Bilal Muhammad. I think he has lots of skill. But as far as talent goes, I think Leon's talented and Shavkat's talented, and that's who I want to see next. I think Bilal should just be like, you two fight it out. I get who's next, and because he's kind of earned it just as much as Leon has. Like 10 fights is crazy. Like that's a lot of fights to not lose at the top level of this division, let alone this organization. So I love it, bro. I can't wait for someone to fight Leon Edwards, who's worthy of the belt. That's not a bum like Colby Covington, who just like completely did nothing the whole fight and talked like the craziest about it. Like I was mad, but this is the last thing I'm gonna say on it. I was mad because Colby disrespected Leon's dad, like not knowing the man from a hole in the wall and pretending like you do. And I like that Leon systematically broke him apart, but I want to see someone with the skill fight at 170 because I think it's there, and I think Islam can be a staple there too if people don't pay attention. You know what I mean? So I'm excited. I'm ready. I'm ready for whatever's next. 2024 is going to be lit.
All right. So the next thing is we have like had a long layoff and it's still going on. Risen had some fights. He had some boxing here and there, but like UFC, it's been like 2 weeks no UFC fights, and it's gonna be like 2 more weeks no UFC fights. So it's been a long layoff, and it's gonna be a longer layoff. But yeah, it's like crazy, like what to do in that time. But I guess recap kind of this year very very briefly, like how we did, I guess, or at least I kind of pinpoint how I did. I just recently posted like 2 videos. I posted like I think one to YouTube, like a short, and I posted like on IG, and I'm probably gonna post a community post on YouTube as well. But like this year, I think I went like 330 and 165, so like 67%. I think that's pretty phenomenal. 67% pretty phenomenal, especially like all the years I've been doing it. Like that's a phenomenal year. Just like predicting all fights, not just like the fights you love. That it's like all the fights. Like 67% pretty phenomenal.
Oh,
And
absolutely phenomenal,
yeah,
bro. People should really pay more attention to you. Like I made a video. I don't mean to cut you off. I made a video of your last uh predictions, and you went 4 out of the 12, and you got them exactly right. You got a second round submission for Tagir Ulanbekov. You got a first round Cody Garbrandt. Alrino Donna goes to decision, and Shamil Ghazi of second round knockout. So like you're hitting, bro. You're hitting hard.
yeah. I think it was like 9-3, like 9 wins, 3 losses. And I think it was 5 of the 9 ones that were correct were perfect. So it was like solid. Like I said, I don't feel like that was like such a phenomenal card because there's definitely been some cards where I hit it and I say, oh, a lot confident this is going to happen. Or even like if it's not perfect, I feel like I predict around and predict thing perfect. Then it might be like a TKO for like with I think when what's the name, when Nate Diaz was like a dog against Tony Ferguson for whatever reason,
Yeah.
and then I was like I picked I think Nate Diaz, I think a 4th round TKO. Like he's going to pick him apart. Like I think even in their prime, I think it was a good stylistic matchup for him, and etc. And I kind of saw the setup how it was going to happen, but he did have like pretty much like I said, close to perfect. Then had, and then other time I still had like a Zach perfect. Like I think what's his name? Yeah, but like I said, it's been I don't feel like I had fights where I had like lock. As a matter of fact, I had Diaz was a dog in that fight. I picked him lock, and I picked him 4th round. Like I feel much more proud of that one because it was a dog pick and it was lock. And I know what's it called? The other one, wasn't Gaziev or whatever his name is. That
Shamil
one was
Ghazi was a
yeah
plus one,
he
like
was a small dog, but I think
120. Yeah.
I think it was a small dog, but I only gave low comment. Like I said, like I'll be honest with stuff. Like I'm not gonna say like I did phenomenal. I like it best when I actually go hard. Like I'm like locking on a play, plus I lock in on the pick. And then that's like when I feel like locked in, like I locked in on that, and or even high confidence, and then I got it perfect. But yeah, at the end of the day, perfect is like are phenomenal, and definitely going to look to do more of that. But I definitely feel like that's something I do pretty commonly. Like I think I hit a lot of perfects pretty often. I think it's been cards where
I agree.
yeah. So I definitely feel like I'm gonna have some more perfect. I think going into the next year, yeah, look to lock in some more perfects and on prediction in the best side, not just like money lining, but like actually being able to say, oh, I know just how these two fights going in, these three fights going in, I'm gonna make a parlay with those three, round everything, turn that to like a 10,000 or 1,000 plus money right there or something like that, plus 1,000 on it. But yeah, it was definitely gonna look a lot. And then also like we talked and discussed about posting those clips and stuff, but definitely going for it. I feel like with this year for the most part, it's kind of like that. It's been like 2 weeks since cards. I'm like, yeah, I know that was a good card. Like I said, five of the nine correct were perfect and stuff. But like, yeah, time has elapsed, and like, and then going to next year, that's something like you could hit it all of them. Like you could hit it with like I said, the fact that you did do that, the fact that you parlayed, if not all, at least some of those picks, and you can show like, oh, show the tickets like post fight and stuff. And yeah, that's definitely something to lock into next year. But again, but also you can still do the same things. Like it's practice because you don't want to just. It's always better to have practice before you get into the full mode of things instead of just trying to do it on the fly. So yeah, but yeah. How do you feel you did this year? You in general?
Well, so this is new for me, the YouTube thing. I'm excited that I started it. I'm excited that I did it. My first card, I only predicted over and under 1.5s, and I went 11-0, my or 11-1, my first card that I predicted. I told you how I think the card's gonna go. I told you what I think is gonna happen, and I usually will not be too specific because I feel like there's just so many different ways things can happen. And yeah, it's crazy. I think ever since the head kick from Leon Edwards to Kamaru Usman, the whole UFC's been shaken up as far as most of the divisions go. And when he did that head kick, then Dustin Poirier got head kicked by Gaethje, and then Matt Frivola, who I went to UFC 292 and met him there, then got him to come onto the podcast with us, which was awesome, and I'm super grateful for. But like, it's just been a wild year, man. We started doing this together, and it's a beautiful thing. Like, that's why I give you the most credit, bro. Like, getting five exactly right is just crazy. Like, it's I don't I never think I could do something like that, but I guess that's what you got to be able to do in order to get better, is know that you do that. And like, that's why I was so impressed with it, man. And like, I'm super grateful to you. You brought me, under the umbrella of King of Crackdown, and I appreciate that. And I feel like I've done well. I feel like, for the most part, the way I look at betting is, when I listen to someone else's podcast, I will take what they have into consideration. If they say a name that I'm suspect of, I will do my homework on that person, and then see if I like what they have to say about them. And then I listen to a lot of analysis of fighting, and that's what I truly get the pleasure out of. And this year has proved great things. Just, we've gotten a ton of views together, and I'm ready for the next year. But yeah, as far as how I did, I I think I went a little around 62% correct. I don't remember exactly how many I got right and wrong, but I was a little bit under you. You always been just a little bit ahead of me, which is, I feel grateful for that, because I listen to what you have to say and I utilize that in my bets. So I think we got a lot planned for this year. I think there's a lot we can get done in this year, and show the fans, like, man, we're someone to listen to. You know what I mean?
Hmm. And all right, let's see. And going into next year, what are some fights you feel are you want to happen, looking forward to happen, et cetera, et cetera? Like, potential match that's like lined up, and even maybe some fighters you want to see, fight for title, win titles next year.
Wow, there's so many. There's so many. I I have to go to the next UFC event, because I think Sean Strickland and Dracus Duplessis is gonna be like, it, it's gonna be like a very talented boxer against like a guy who just kind of goes full force until he has no energy left, like he did with Derek Brunson. And I'm talking about Dracus du Plessis. I'm really excited for that fight. I didn't win any money off Sean Strick. I mean, off Izzy losing. Not off. What am I saying? I didn't lose any money from Izzy because I bet more on Sean Strickland, and that got me what to a point. I didn't think he was going to win, but he was just 525 plus 525. So I parlayed him here and there, and I bet a little bit, money line on it, just because so much has happened with like Sean O'Malley becoming champion. Like nobody, like Aljo's a wrestler. They say Sean O'Malley struggles with wrestlers, so I never saw him becoming champion. So when Sean Strickland went to go fight Izzy, I was like, all right, it like something crazy can happen. So let me bet a little bit of money on it. So now that Dracus du Plessis, who I think is the biggest threat in 185, because Alex Pereira is no longer in it, I do think Hamzat's probably the most dangerous. But as far as fights that are gonna happen next, Dracus and Sean is for Sean is the most difficult fight, and I can't wait to watch it, man. I'm excited for that. Ilya Taporia, I love Ilya Taporia. I think he's grown so much. The card with Sean Strickland has a bunch of big names on it. Arnold Allen versus Movsar Evloev, Dominic Reyes, Carlos Olberg, Chris Curtis, Marc-Andre Barrios, Charles Jourdain, who's been on a tear ever since he beat Chrome Gracie. So I think there's a lot, man. There's a ton on just that card. And then UFC 300's got, like, who knows what that, they say that card's going to be legendary, and they have some big names on it already. So I'm super excited for that. But I think just creating stuff that the fans want, and, any recommendations are considered. But I think just growing this and showing, like, we belong, man, because we've gotten a lot of cards right, and that's what's most important. What do you think?
Let me see. Definitely looking forward to. I want to see Jamal Hill return, and I want to see him, against Prohaska,
Oh
Magomed
yeah,
live.
that too. Yeah,
I'm looking for John Jones versus Stipe Miocic. I know a lot of people saying, "Oh, I don't care about that fight." You got Miocic, he's a has been and whatnot. You got people saying John Jones ducking, so like I don't really care about that matchup. I know people want to see John Jones versus Aspinall. Like,
that's what I want to
honestly,
say.
yeah, to be honest, I just feel like John Jones should retire instead of trying to fight. He already accomplished stuff, but hey, at the end of the day, like that fight schedule, I'm gonna be excited for it. So John Jones versus Aspinall will be a big one.
Is he gonna fight him for sure? I know you don't know for sure, but is it in the cards right now even? Because
John Jones versus Aspinall.
because I thought he was gonna retire after
Yeah, I
Steve.
feel like John Jones will be the type to surprise people and actually fight Aspinall because John Jones sometimes, he's a what's it called? He's got main character syndrome and he has like that ego. So
Oh
the
yeah,
fact that people are saying he doesn't want to fight him, he will fight him. If there's enough buzz, especially for the fact that he already took out Pavlovich. So people like, so he took out one of the monsters. So this is the bigger of the monsters. So is at least one guy because Pavlovich, to be honest, really ain't really proven himself. So kind of
no.
that was gonna be the big fight to set one of them apart. So now
That's
that
why
Aspinall,
instead of betting on him, Aspinall any other way than straight up, I should have done first round knockout because one of them was gonna get it. But I yeah, I agree Aspinall on that about Aspinall.
yeah, so that been a good fight. John Jones versus Aspinall, John Jones versus Stephen Malchik. So it's like good fights always. Like, hey, like I said, you got Jamal Hill versus Ankalaev, Jamal Hill versus Alex Pereira, even Jamal Hill maybe against Jerry Prohaska. That could be another good one. Or Pereira versus Magomed Ankalaev. That'd be another good one. Then middleweight division, Adesanya, if he returns, be an interesting one. Chimaev will be an interesting fight. Chimaev versus
For
Strickland
that,
to see if that,
yeah,
what happens in the gym is what's going to happen in the cage, or if Sean Strickland could show him that, fighting me in the cage professionally is different from sparring me in the gym where we just light rolling and your technique could flow versus like now you're in a real fight situation and the technique ain't going and I'm still here and you tired and stuff. Like you after every round having this whole different story. So
right,
that'd be interesting, Definitely Dricus Du Plessis. He's always like a wild card in that fight. He just fights so unorthodox. He come out
right,
there. He
right.
might. It might look like Kamaru Usman versus Sean Strickland all the years ago.
Right.
He was
Yo.
dwelling punches and catching Strickland and dropping Strickland. Strickland got the better technique. He trying to roll shots and getting dropped by top of the head shots, back of the head shots, and it's looked like a wild, funky fight. I feel like no matter who fights Ricky Duplessis, always look like a comedy sketch. Like you don't look, it is like you getting dropped by a jab, getting hit by looping punches, getting like he running and punching like Misha Tate. Like it is into that fight. He got the Brunson effect, but yeah, those be good fights. Then you got lightweight. I'm not really too interested in lightweight fights. A lot of people are interested in them. I'm interested in Conor McGregor's return. And yet, to be honest, I want him to win. So people can just stop hyping up his loss. Like I'm tired of people just showing like 5 seconds of him in the Poirier fight. Like he landed a combination. Like y'all really out of material. Y'all just showing 2 punches he landed pure fight. Like it's been like 4 years. Like he needs some real new material. So I feel like definitely excited for more than anything. I'm really more excited for Conor McGregor's fight. I feel like Makhachev kind of had his interesting fights. I'm not too super excited about him fighting Armas Yakirin again. I'm not interested in him fighting Justin Gaethje. Well, Justin Gaethje losing the third time by submission in a UFC title fight. Not interested in saying that. Charles Oliveira, based on how he looked against Islam Makhachev's first fight, I know a lot of fans love Charles Oliveira, but I don't really love the rematch. I can say it's hard to not do better than he did the last fight with Islam Makhachev. But am I super excited for that matchup? No, I think that would be a good fight to be like an addition to a UFC 300 card where it's like just adding on it. You're not really expecting too much from it, but it's two big names and it's a fight that some people gonna be super excited for, and I'm just gonna be like okay excited for. In featherweight, I'm super excited for Ilia Topuria to fight Volkanovski. I think that could be a good betting spot. I think a lot of people are going to respect Volkanovski, but I think Ilia Topuria is going to show his time down there. So you probably get Ilia Topuria probably at minus 200, maybe even lower. Might even get him at plus money. So I'm excited for the fight itself and the odds of that fight. And then, yeah, some other interesting fights, but I can't say like I'm super excited for any of the other fights that's really below 145 right now. Like Sean O'Malley, I think the Montevera fight is interesting, but I'm not super excited for it. But I feel like it will be a good fight. But again, it's not a fight I'm excited for. And the other fights at 135, I'm not super excited for. 125, I just don't feel like Pantoja is like the most exciting champion, to be honest. So I can't really imagine any of his fights being super exciting. Interested to see Volkaev continue to prove, but it's like he's not really fighting the cream of the creme de la creme just yet. So it's not like, you just kind of just watching him and just checking off the buckets and drawing him like on parlays at plus minus 1,000 or something at this point. So it's not that interesting. And then, yeah, women's weight classes. I guess I'm excited for, well, minorly, very barely excited for to see the 45 and 35 women's weight classes get champions, or the women's 45 division to get absolved or dissolved. That'd be interesting. But yeah, I guess Weili Zhang. I'm excited to watch Weili Zhang. I've been liking her improvement. Whether it be a case she go out and just dominates her next opponent, it's a dominating fight. That's really nothing more to watch back, or you just looking all like she just dominated that chick. I'm interested to see her development, and maybe a third Rose Namajunas fight could be interesting. Maybe I know she talked about a super fight, trying to go up and fight, but the current champion of the weight class just got the belt. So what's the point of doing a super fight when Alexa Grasso just got the belt? So Weili Zhang get some more defenses. Alexa Grasso at least get past Valentina Shevchenko completely. But then you got Blanchfield waiting for you. You got Tatiana Suarez waiting for you. So Alexa Grasso got a lot of work before she could be ready for a super fight. And I think Weili Zhang kind of in a decent spot for a super fight, but even though she might need one or two more fights. But yeah, so the whole talk of super fights in that fight, between those two weight classes just don't make sense right now. But yeah, I really ain't got much else to say. You got any like closing thoughts for this podcast, with the final podcast of 2023?
Man, I just want to send all my love out to the people that support us, and the people that come back to watch us, and the people that recognize how good we can be, and I'm just grateful for it, man. I'm excited to see what, man, every year I get more and more excited for the fights that happen. Like I could only imagine being in the war room with Dana and he's picking all these fights to happen, and like you're just like figuring them out from all these YouTube channels, and that's where I get a predominant amount of my information is just listening to the latest news on MMA, which is it's always exciting. So this is probably the funnest thing I do, other than when I'm not working playing video games. Watching UFC, I just love it, man. Yeah, I want to give a big shout out to you. You've definitely help my channel grow, help me get bigger, and I can't thank you enough for that. And I do love the Aaron Blanchfield versus Alexa Grasso after Valentina's done, just because Aaron Blanchfield's been so dominant, and I know she has a fight coming up, and we'll see what happens with that. But if she continues like something like Ilia Topuria, where you're just so dominant, yeah, I just can't wait for this next year. You got any final thoughts?
Uh, Well, I'll say it's been a pleasure having you on board. And, we're going into 2024. We're going into 2024 strong into the viewers. So talking to you guys in the third person or whatnot, or talking directly to you. So now I can point like I'm talking to y'all. But yeah, I appreciate everyone that comes out and well, not comes out, like, tunes in to the podcast. Whether we get like a special week where y'all tuning in is 300 people watching the podcast, or clicking on the video, 300 people watching the podcast, 400, 500, 600, or whether it's 90, 46, 54, or whatnot. No, the fact that you are tuning in, especially when you're commenting, like Deshaun, like, no, and actually, like, not just general commenting, but like I hear you referring to stuff that was like 54 minutes into the video, or 53 seconds in, well, 53 minutes and 2 seconds, like very specific time. Like, oh, I did say that. I did say that, and have me going back trying to find when I said this. Like, I appreciate when people like really invest, or even when they watching the video along and commenting every single step, and put in their own little time stamps in there, saying like, "Oh, this funny, right? That's funny, right there. I like that." Blah blah. Even when it's be like heckling, like this playful joking around and stuff. I appreciate all the comments, even if it's negative. To be honest, like, I love the interaction. Interaction is good. Like, good publicity, bad publicity, any publicity is good publicity, I guess you could say. But yeah, I appreciate all the support, all the love, the negative, the good support, the tuning in, and definitely gonna try to do more and more. And we definitely looking to upgrade next year in lots of different ways. And yeah, I think it's about time. Like, it's long overdue. It's about time to upgrade in a lot of different ways and try different things and just go for it in 2024. I think 2024 is the year to lock in. No excuses, no regrets. Just go all in. 2024, 2024. I'm like making up years now. I'm in the skip the whole 1,000 years, but 2024 is the
Yeah.
year of making things happen. And that's the video. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Subscribe to Nikki Betts. Subscribe to me. Oh, and if you could just type our names into Instagram, any other type of just any social media, because I might have social media, TikTok, Facebook, whatever you could think of, but mainly Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. You'll find me on there. Enter the name, hit that follow, and you can hear more from me, more from us. And that's the video. Thanks for watching. Again, like, comment, subscribe. Peace.
Peace.